All right. Looks like we're live. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Hey, John W. Okay. So tonight, I am working on some paper tests. And it's a whole thing. Yes, I know you well, John W. Hey, Math Raptor. It's good to see you. So I'm doing paper tests. I'm going to test this stuff right here, this Fluid 100. I have been using this stuff a little bit. It's the same line of paper, but this is the cold press, which means that it's the rough surface. And this is the hot press, so it is the smooth surface. And I have no idea if there's any way for me to show it on camera, but it is, the texture is very interesting. It feels very smooth, but also almost sandpapery. And this is the rough stuff. And this is a test I was working on yesterday. And it sort of has the same sandpapery feel, but it also has like a little bit of a roughness to it. Like that you can actually see. It's the kind of thing that'll pick up like dry brush really well. This stuff I think is probably about twice as expensive as the Strathmore that I use. This pad was $29.36 and it has 15 sheets. So it's basically $2 a sheet for this. And I don't remember how much the Strathmore costs, but I get 2 sheets, like 2 pages out of each sheet of Strathmore. So, and this does come in a larger size, but I just couldn't get it. I'd have to order it, special order it. Yeah, I have worked with colorists. In fact, my the first colorist I ever worked with was one of the greatest colorists of all time. And oh my god, on stream every time. Who colored me on B.P.R.D? Like one of the most award-winningest colorists ever. Dave Stewart, Jesus Christ. Thank you, John. I swear to God, as soon as I start the stream, like everyone's name that I've ever known just vacates my brain entirely. It's embarrassing. I don't know why it happens. So yeah, working with Dave Stewart was fantastic. But I just like controlling every part of my page, everything that I can. So if I can color and letter a page, I will do it. What up, Edie? Glad to see you. So that's what's on the deck for now. And so these are some pencils that I did for a Deadpool comic. This was written by Cullen Bunn. This came out like a million years ago. And I just needed something to do my test with. So I went ahead and just grabbed this because it's like a good sort of all-around page. We got figures of different sizes. We got some action. We got some backgrounds. Yeah, so I thought I would test this. Because one of the things about trying new paper is like sometimes you can pull out a sheet of paper and just give it a go, and you can tell if it's like something that'll work for you or not. But with this watercolor paper, I feel like I found that I really need to do a whole page to know if I like it or not, because there's so many little moving parts to it. It's like, how do I get my pencils onto it? Because I'm going to keep penciling digital. So the solution to that question is to pull out my giant light box thing. And then I will light box this onto this paper. So then the second question to ask is like, how do I line this up? Because if it's crooked, when I go to scan it, it's going to cause me all kinds of, well, not all kinds of problems. It just is a pain in the neck. So if I can get it like perfectly straight on here, and I think maybe the easiest thing to do, would be to plan for it and put marks that I can line up to the top and bottom on the printed out page. But that's not going to happen today. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line it up to one edge and then tape it down and then go from there. Thanks, John W. I got mixed feelings about my lettering. Like, I feel like it's like I like my lettering better than most, but it's not. It's just because there's like idiosyncratic stuff that I want to do. But I definitely think like there are. Like, I definitely don't feel like I'm a letterer. Like in the sense that like I couldn't letter someone else's book. But I do think about lettering constantly. So one of the things about using this paper is I think I would have to work just the tiniest bit smaller. Like I usually work 140% bigger than print. So I may have to go to like 135 or something if I switch to this paper. And the other thing I'm going to experiment with a little bit is not inking panel borders. Instead, I think I'm just going to mask off all the panel borders. Oh, hey, Pippi, how you doing? I'm doing a paper test on this stuff. Fluid 100. I do not know what the name of this company is, but I do like this paper a lot. And this is their their high-end version of their paper. They have one that's like a little bit cheaper, but this seemed a little bit nicer. That is a good question, Ma. I think so. The rough stuff that I was experimenting on yesterday, this stuff, I couldn't get it to go through the printer at all for some reason. Like it just would, it just jammed every time. And I do not know, don't know why. I couldn't figure it out. But I haven't tried with this stuff, so I definitely should. This is a very standard size. It's a, what do you call it? Is it A3? The metric paper size. So the printer should know, it should be able to like figure it out if I plop it in there, assuming that it's like not too thick or something. And this stuff is thinner. This stuff is thinner than the Strathmore paper I use and thinner than the cold press, which is interesting. I didn't expect that actually, but it might make for a nicer tracing experience. So this is going to test a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to do a bunch of using a brush and using a nib and make sure the masking tape works with the paper. Because if I can't mask off the borders, I don't know if there's any point in switching, because that is one of my, that's like, I love being able to mask off my borders when I have to do them, like clean them up in Photoshop. Ah, see, look. I mean, you can't see, but it's already like tore up the paper just a touch. Ew, that does not bode well. So one of the things about doing tests like this is that it's like, I hate trying new materials for paid projects for like that very reason that we just saw, where it's like, I just might not, like, it sucks on a paid project to find out that the masking tape you're using is going to rip the page to shreds. So I always try to test it like now when I have a little bit of spare time. And doing this stuff on stream is really fun. Yeah, Edie, I still have to manually load. I can't get I've never been able to get like a Bristol board or watercolor paper to go, like it has to go in the back feed. Although I will say that the Epson printer that I have now is good. Like it likes, like I can stick 3 or 4 pages in there at a time and it'll print them all out for me without having to do them individually through, which is nice. But they'll have to go through the rear feed. So part of what I'm doing tonight is inspired by a cartoonist named Thomas Campy, is I think how you pronounce it. And I think he's French. He may be Belgian. I don't know. But I follow him on Instagram, and he does a lot of like videos of him painting his pages and stuff. And he uses watercolor paper, and it looks incredible. So that's sort of what inspired me to spend a little time working on this. Oh man, Edie, that sounds like a good deal. 10 pads of 10 pads of 300 pages? Oh no, 300 series. for $13 a pop. That's good. I think that's good. I haven't bought the 300 series in a while. I really like that stuff, though. That's what my first book, Petrograd, was done on the Strathmore 300 series. This is interesting. This is like, so this paper is 100% cotton. And it's like, with the nib, it somehow like feels squishy. So I didn't do it for this test, but one of the things that Thomas Campy does that is something that looks like it could really help me is that he will pencil digitally, and then also in the pencils he'll do like a rough tone pass, like laying out a bunch of the sort of where the shadows fall. And just when I saw that, I was like, oh, that looks like it would be so great to have that all planned out before you start working on paper. But you have to, like, I can't do my regular thing where I print out the pencils onto the page. I would have to lightbox it like this because I couldn't. Like, if the gray tones were printed onto the paper, it would just be a mess. Yeah, John W. I could talk about paper all day. And yeah, the squishy is weird, especially on like inking with a nib. Usually the nibs feel really scratchy, you know? But this paper actually seems to really like the nib. It's interesting. I think it's good weird. Although it does look a little bit like, I don't want, you can kind of see, it looks like it's picking up a little bit of lint, kind of, which is interesting. Although that could just be, that could be ink. Like little bits of dried ink flecks. sometimes those gather around like the mouth of my uh, little inkwell. The scritch sound gives you the serotonin. Yeah, it is. I don't know. It's not bad, but yeah, I do kind of miss the scritch, like because I'm expecting it to be there, and it's not. And that's what it looks like without the light box. Have to put the scritches in post. It's a good idea. Or I could just do it. I could just do it for you. I am using FW acrylic ink, ED. It's this stuff. But it usually comes in the little jar like this. Yes, Pippi, I am going to test out my zero brush in a little bit. What I'm checking out right now, like the process that I'm planning on for this panel is nib, and then I'll come back in with the brush and do some like spots and blacks, and then do color after that. Yeah, if this was Spielberg level ADR, you'd get the Helheim scream in there eventually. Did you guys hear that they found the original recording of the Helheim scream? Wait, is that what it's called? Now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't know if that's right. I think it was like in a Universal Studios archive or something. Wilhelm. Thank you, Math Raptor. That's the one. Helheim. That would be a good scream too, though, I guess. That's right, Mark. Helheim is the Cullen Bunn and oh my god. What is her name? The artist. Joelle Jones. Joelle's really good. And her husband is an actor. He was in the very first Resident Evil. Kind of a bit part, but a speaking part. And last time we watched it, I was like, he came on and I was just like losing my mind because I'm like, why does that guy look so familiar? Yeah, Edie, I think Joel's work just gets better and better too. So for everyone joining, I am working on a paper test of some watercolor paper. And I'm using some old pencils that I did for a Deadpool comic with Cullen Bunn. Cullen wrote this story. And my plan is just to do take slightly different approach for each panel, but put together a whole comic book page by the time I'm done and try to get a sense of if I want to try to do a whole project on this paper. And I'm going to say it. Like and subscribe. Thanks, Piffy. I really am like I really want to push my line weights a little bit more, get a little bit thinner and get a little bit thicker. So without the backlight. His face kind of disappears, doesn't it? So I'm using a size, is it my size 3? Yeah, my size 3 brush right now. For everybody keeping score. One thing that is making me very nervous is I don't have a good sense of how fast stuff dries on this paper. Like I've been using that Strathmore paper so long that I'm pretty good at like knowing when my ink is dry. And not perfect, but I'm pretty good at just having a sense of it. And on this, it's making me very nervous. This was penciled back before I started digitally penciling too, which is interesting. Crisper than fresh tortilla chips. Thanks. Man, I already got the vibe I'm getting is that as soon as I go to pull this masking tape off, the whole thing's just gonna just rip to shreds. I was just talking for a ton about penciling digitally, but I had my mute on. Thank goodness Matt's in the house and can come tell me when I'm talking to myself. But I was just saying that I think that penciling digitally is a little bit faster for me, but the main benefit is just that I can get better compositions. Like I can adjust compositions on the fly when I'm penciling digitally, and I can't really do that penciling traditionally. If I want to change a composition, I have to erase it on paper. But if I'm working digitally, I can, just make a selection and move things around. That's way faster. The biggest problem with penciling digitally is the old zoom in problem, where I find myself zooming in too much. And in Clip Studio, you can adjust that, but you can't adjust it for the iPad, where like the finger zoom, which is like my go-to, is like for some reason they won't let you lock that down. Hey, Comic Stroke. It's good to see you. I love the depth of texture you get with watercolors. Thanks, man. Yeah, I think I feel like most of the people who digitally color spend all their time trying to accomplish watercolor stuff. And I think like it's just faster and better to do it. The only bummer about working in watercolor is that no matter what you do, it is never going to scan correctly. Like it's always just going to be a little bit like off from the originals. And most people will never notice or see or whatever, but it is hard on me personally for that to be the case. Do you think that that's the best thing about digital, the ability to change course without damaging the paper or eating up precious time for now? Yeah, I think that's 100% the benefit of working digitally is just that you have a lot of flexibility that you don't have on paper. I mean, when I'm coloring digitally or when I'm coloring on paper, it's like each one of these marks, once it goes down, it's down. Like I can't even use whiteout when I'm doing color stuff, which can be pretty brutal sometimes. That's funny, Pippi. The undo when working digitally isn't even that big of a help for me. Like I find that I use the eraser more than I use the undo, which is probably just habit from working on paper for so long. But it also is like I find that I usually don't want to like undo a whole thing. I just want to like change what I put down. I don't know. There's a page of just solid black in Harrow County and all the watercolor textures. Yeah, Mark, a furious black. Yeah, I like it when you can take something that's supposed to be basically a solid color and make it not be. That's fun. So the other big thing that happened this week, I guess, is that I deleted my Twitter account. So if you follow me on there, no, you don't. That was rough. That took me too long. I should have deleted it a long time ago. Well, like months ago. Oh, nice, Mark. Yeah, so far I have not missed Twitter. It was just a feel bad machine for me. Comic strips, I feel like you would probably get more use out of it than I was. But well, maybe not. Like links to anything off site were definitely like um, a reduced priority. And it's funny, like I found that I was getting more like more interaction or whatever on BlueSky, even though there's not even a million people on BlueSky yet. But the people who are there are more like engaged in a positive way, which is nice. And I don't feel like anybody like has to delete their Twitter or whatever. Like I was real close to actually just leaving my Twitter up with a blank or with like, just a tweet saying where to find me. But the reason I deleted it was so that I would quit looking at it. The trending info. Is that like analytics stuff? Oh, gotcha. Comic strips. Yeah, yeah, man, I have like poor impulse control when it comes to the like the trending news stuff, and it would just like the algorithm was just designed to make me mad, basically. The news stuff though is really good. Like Blue Sky definitely does not have um like the same news reporter culture or whatever. And that was a really good thing on Twitter. Like lots of times I saw the news on Twitter before I saw it anyplace else. Oh, Pippi, I haven't even tried Threads. That seems like I just don't trust Meta, so I don't think there's anything there for me. Yeah, Mark, when it comes to counting followers, like I I do pay attention to it. Like I was checking every month to see what my follower count was, and I was like within about 15 or 20 of getting 10,000 followers when Musk announced that he was taking over, and it's just like dropped every single month since then. One thing I'll say about this paper is that it holds the color beautifully. Like I'm used to the colors actually dulling out a lot more than they are right here, which is very interesting. Paris paper. I don't know if I have used Paris paper. Is it like a watercolor paper or is it what is it? It's a smooth paper, kind of like Bristol. Yeah, maybe I should look into it. Do you think it's good for like wet media stuff, like watercolor? Because the stuff I use is the Strathmore 400 series mixed media paper, which is basically a Bristol board, but it is like um, uh, the sizing, like the sealant that they use on it is like soaked into the paper more. They call it internally sized. Um, so it takes wet media really, really well. My wife says that it's good for inks, but not wet media. Oh, she's painter family. Yeah, maybe I should give it a shot though. Like you never know. Like I do like um, coloring with ink instead of watercolor a lot. I'm doing that more and more, mostly for like covers and stuff. Um, but I do use it like it's as if it was watercolor, so it is wet media. But one of the things I love most in life is buying paper. Thanks, Math Raptor. Yeah, I think like they're a little bit brighter on stream than I think they are in real life, but they are very bright, like way brighter than I'm used to. Yeah, take up Mark on that deal. Anybody who's reading, I think BlueSky is gonna do it. I mean, it has lasted longer than any other social media platform. Like for a for a week, it was gonna be Hive, and then they kind of wrecked it, and then what was the other one? Spoutable? Is that what it's called? BlueSky seems to be the place for the weirdos, which is the comic scene, I think. At least the good part of the comic scene. Hey, Rudak. I'm glad you showed up. It's good to see you. Man, I am kind of making a mess of this. I don't know where my light source is on this guy. That's what I was talking about. Like if I do like a tonal pass on my pencils, I can figure out all my light sources and have that all worked out before I start inking, and that would be really nice. It's so funny, like you wouldn't think that I could get this far and then be like, I don't know where the light is, which direction the light is coming from. But if I don't think about it, I find myself here more often than I care to admit. Nice, Rudak. Let me be your Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah, I think it's generally overhead. I think I'm thinking that the light source is coming from here, but then I made his cheeks super dark for no reason. Anyway, that's why this is just a test page. I don't know if you guys could hear that. The ice cream man just went by, but it's like dark out. It's not that hot. Thank you for hall monitoring, Redact or ED. The ice cream guy from the comics. More than likely. So usually I would have started by just laying down a tone, like a just a solid color tone over the whole thing. And I didn't do it this time. And I think that's part of why the colors are coming out so vibrant, because usually when everything gets mixed with a little bit of whatever one color I put down, it like softens or it muddies the colors a little bit. And I think that not doing that really helped sort of make everything pop. But I'm not 100% sure that's the only reason. I'll have to do it on one of these other panels when I do it. Well, thanks. Yeah, I do like the vibrancy, but it's like I think that this is good probably for the subject matter being a Deadpool comic. Like it really makes sense to have it be um, bright and colorful. Man, it looks like shit when you do it like that. Oof. But there's something nice when it's all sort of unified by that one tone. Like, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to like throw down a little bit of a tone now. Doing kind of a yellowy brown. Do kind of a glaze with it. This may totally destroy it. Yeah, that looks like garbage. Oof. Actually, it doesn't look so bad now that, well, let's see if I can get this out of the way. Doesn't look too bad. It's pretty dry. I kind of want to test pulling up some of this masking tape really quick and see how it's doing. I'm going to do it. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that was terrible. Don't know if it shows up on stream at all. It never does. But it did like tear up the surface of the paper. The entire length of it. Ugh. Ugh, man. That's frustrating. Let's see how that sort of brown masking tape does. Yeah, ugh. Ugh. It's, breaks my heart. Like, it leaves a crisp edge, but it just absolutely destroys the paper in the gutters, which would leave me having to clean that up anyway. Oh, oh my gosh. Nightmare. Can you see? Let me get a shadow on it. You can start to see. Oh. Yep. Wow. So disappointing. You know, that's a good question. Oh. I thought I had some blue painter's tape to try, Pippi, but I don't. Unless Ma, do you know if we have any blue painter's tape? The reason I don't like using blue painter's tape though is because of the color. I feel like it influences my color choices too much because it is such a like overpowering like amount of one color. So there's pencils versus colored. Man, what a disappointment. Yeah, I just absolutely wrecked that paper. I wonder how. Let's get a little bit of this frisket. Yeah, that's why we test Math Raptor. That's why we test on stuff that isn't on deadline. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of frisket right here where the paper is still pristine. And yep, same thing. Man, that is rough. So this is the like can you see how much paper it took off? This is the cold press stuff, so it has a rough surface, but it actually did pretty good with it did pretty good with my tape tests. I wonder how it does with this frisket. Yeah, right? For that kind of price. Well, it's just because that paper it's designed for a specific use, you know? It's designed to hold the paint just right. That's its main gig. And it did. It held the paint just right. But yeah. It makes my good old Strathmore paper seem really, really wonderful. All right, so let's try this cold press frisket. Oh, beautiful. It came off perfect on the cold press. Where'd my page go? So this is like, you can see that panel border. Although you can see that I got some bleed right there, but whatever. That sort of thing is easy to fix. Although, one of the things about this cold press paper, and this does seem to be showing up on the stream, is it's cream colored. It's just a little bit not white. And this stuff is just like a really bright white. Like it's almost as white as printer paper, which is just about the whitest paper you can get. Yeah. So, I guess the only thing I concluded is that this paper is not for me, for doing comics anyway. I feel like it could actually work good for maybe doing some covers or something. And for doing commissions and stuff. Although I do like taping off the paper. Like I think I would have to work on the block if I did a commission on this. Like I would have to leave it in the pad. Because the pad is like it's locked down on both sides to help it stay normal, stay flat. But I obviously wouldn't be able to light box anything doing that. Oof, man, rough. Okay. Well, I think that settles that for the night. I think that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me and keeping me company on this Friday night. And I don't know, even though it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, I definitely learned something. I hope that was fun or interesting or whatever. Okay. All right, everybody. I hope y'all have a great weekend and have a great week. I'll see you next Friday night. And don't forget to make sure to tell the people you love how much you love them. And I love all you guys. Take care.